Jackson. I am at the Wall Group and I'm the creative director of Brownstone Cowboys Magazine and Vintage Store.
Hi, I'm Zoe Adlersberg and I am the co-editor-in-chief of Brownstone Cowboys Magazine and a photographer.
Hey Arma. We've got Arma here today and we've just been putting her in one of our newer pieces that we just got, this really awesome boiler suit. We just put it with some vintage Converse that were Andy Warhol Converse, and it might be quite cute just to do a little bit of a tuck so you can see the top. Here's a small part of our collection that we've pulled together. I'm really into vintage workwear, so there's actually a lot of that going on, and that's something that I really like. Overalls and pants. This is a vintage workwear jacket. 3 wardrobe staples are a vintage pair of boys' Levi's that they're like teenage ones, I think, maybe youth, but I just absolutely love them. I got them in Alabama many years ago, and when they die, I'm going to have to try and get them remade. I have a workwear jacket, not too dissimilar to this one, that I wear all the time. And I love a vintage button down, like a stripy vintage button down or a pajama top that's got stripes. I like that too. Zoe and I met many years ago. We have children the same age. We met on the playground actually at First originally about 13 years ago. But during the pandemic, we became close. Really, I think we just bonded over being stuck at home and you know, having, I don't know, our whole lives ripped away from us. Obviously, everything was happening. COVID happened, and then George Floyd's murder, and then everything that happened after that. And I think shortly after that, people were just starting to try and get back to some kind of normal, where that people would post that like nothing was happening, or people were trying to shoot and pretend that nothing had happened. But I felt so deeply that everything had changed for us as far as, you know, the world and everything, that I just wanted to do something that maybe was trying to do something good for the world. And John, who's doing the magazine with us, who is the other editor-in-chief, he was saying, why don't you relaunch Brownstone Cowboys and make it into a magazine? So that's what we decided to do, that focuses on social justice and charities and creatives who are really passionate about different charities and wanting to do good in the world, and people in fashion that want to do good in the world. So it's a magazine, and it's also an online magazine, and it's also a vintage online store, as well as our own merch that we're doing collaborations with artist t-shirts every so often as well. I always naturally loved vintage as a kid. I found a couple of vintage stores in New Zealand where I grew up, and I would get all of my clothes from there because the pool of what you could actually get in New Zealand was pretty bad back then. So I always had fun finding things that I knew no one else could have.
And I think it's interesting to be able to do something that doesn't separate style and substance and kind of combines both of them.
Vintage always has definitely a big story, because it always has a story that happened before you got it, and then it has your story.
That's nice. Soulful.
Yes. I found this bag a couple of months ago on Etsy, and it's this bag that Kate Moss had, and there's a famous picture of her. I think she's walking through an airport, and she's got just like a white tank top and jeans, I think, in the 90s, and this bag that Betsy Johnson made. So I found that, and I was super stoked because I've been looking for one for ages.
I feel like a cute schoolboy.
I like that. I think with you know, how important and how at the forefront sustainability is now. Everyone's talking about it and thinking about it, and hopefully trying to do better and thinking about ways that they can do better. And I am a firm believer in buying, you know, very good quality, but just not too much of it. So trying to stay away from the fast fashion and all of that sort of thing. And that's where vintage comes in as well, because you can buy, you know, whether it's designer vintage or whether it's just amazing pieces that you find at a thrift store, you can find this quality of item which is fully sustainable because it's not, it's not filling up landfills, and it's just a really good way of consciously buying, which I think is really important for us all to do our part and to stop collecting as much crap as we all have. That's where Brownstone came in with my collecting and overconsumption, is that I could, get something, wear it for a while, and then it can be recycled back into Brownstone Cowboys and sold to someone else who then they can enjoy it. So that's really where I do feel like it really completely just is a cycle. This whole idea of pulling from our contacts, and now that the magazine is out there, being able to, pull from people that we don't know, who we know really care about something, and get them involved. And I think that's something really nice to actually celebrate, that there's the people out there that are actually, trying to do better and be better in this world, and actually really, working hard on whatever the charity is that they're really passionate about.